The responsibility to organize FIFA's World Cup 2014 to the country, Brazil.
That was 6 years ago. An announcement that the world's biggest soccer tournament would be coming home to Brazil for the first time since 1950. But with 1 year to go until the tournament kicks off, this is what's happening in Brazil this week. At least 200,000 Brazilians have taken to the streets all around the country with massive demonstrations in major cities like Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Cities which are also currently spending huge amounts of public money on sports stadiums and security in preparation for the global soccer tournament next year, and then the Olympics in 2016. And demonstrators want to know why billions of dollars in public money is being funneled to build extravagant sports stadiums while schools, hospitals, roads, and water facilities around the country are crumbling. A sentiment summed up in this now viral YouTube video.
The World Cup is going to add up to about $30 billion. That's more than the last 3 World Cups added together. They added up to about $25 billion. Now tell me, in a country where illiteracy can reach 21% and average is 10%, a country that ranks 85 in the Human Development Index, a country where 13 million of people are underfed every day, and where many, many other people die waiting for medical treatment. Does that country need more stadiums?
To make matters worse, to raise even more revenue, the public services in Brazil have been cut, and bus fares have been increased, a move that sparked the demonstrations around the country last week. And the nation's poorest have suffered the most, as favelas are bulldozed to make room for new tourist destinations. As many as 1.5 million families are expected to be forced out of their homes before the World Cup kicks off. Meanwhile, private real estate developers, construction companies, and multinational sponsors are doing very well, securing huge contracts and preparing for a profit bonanza when the world flocks to Brazil next summer. But what happens to the broader Brazilian economy after the games are over? In 2010, South Africa hosted the World Cup, and the country was only able to recoup a tenth of the nearly $5 billion spent to prepare for the games. Meanwhile, FIFA, the international soccer governing body, made its money off South Africa's hospitality, collecting billions in television and marketing rights. So it's no wonder why Brazilian taxpayers feel like they're getting a raw deal. But this is a debate that should also be very familiar to Americans, since every single year a new cash-strapped city decides to divert public funds away from essential services and toward corporate sports owners who want to build a new stadium. In Detroit, the NHL's Red Wings are seeking millions from the state to build a new arena. Meanwhile, the city itself is under the control of a financial manager who's desperately slashing spending on public services like education. In Atlanta, the Falcons want to construct a new billion-dollar stadium, and they want taxpayers to put up $200 million for construction, and then even more than that over the next 40 years to maintain the stadium. And in Chicago, where 50 public schools will be closed, Mayor Rahm Emanuel wants hundreds of millions of dollars to be diverted to a new sports stadium for DePaul University, a private school. So crony capitalism and corporate welfare for sports owners isn't just taking place in the developing world. It's a booming industry right here in the United States, too. Only there aren't hundreds of thousands of people protesting in the streets of Detroit or Chicago demanding better use of public funding and more accountability. And while government officials and corporate sponsors in Brazil and the United States think that building mega state-of-the-art sports complexes is a sign of progress that will benefit the economy, you have to wonder, what good are these stadiums if they're built in cities that can't educate their kids, that can't provide health care to their sick, and where the citizens don't even seem to want them? In Washington, Sam Sachs, RT.